Well, just a few of us here tonight. Good evening, everybody. Wish we'd had a bigger turnout, but we'll do with what we have. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is David Williford. I'm the chairman of the Board of Trustees.
And good evening, everyone. I'm Cynthia Massey. I'm a staff member. I'm an MIS support manager.
So the two of us are on the search committee to search for the new president. The search committee was formed actually a couple months ago, and the search committee is one of the probably the most difficult job that the board and the committee has, and we take it obviously very seriously. So when we form this committee, we have members from the Board of Trustees as well as student representative and representative from the staff and faculty on the board. So wanted to be sure that we had input from all aspects. We are going to, I was about to say David, I said we're going to have Robin here, who's going to show a little PowerPoint presentation and talk to you. And then, of course, want to hear from the folks out here in the audience and to get your input on what you see as the characteristics and traits and skills and so forth in our next president. So, Robin, I'll turn it over to you.
Good evening. Just want to say welcome to everybody who's here tonight. Can't say thank you enough for taking time out of your free evening to come here and participate in our community forum. We know that everybody's got really busy schedules, so thank you for that. Let me get my notes up here real quick. So I just want to introduce myself. I think I know everybody in here, but my name is Robin Deaver. I'm the CFO for the college. As Mr. Williford explained, this process for the board is the most important thing that they will do as our board of trustees, is to help us to determine who our next president is going to be. So we really appreciate any comments or suggestions that you may have for us tonight. But we really want to start off just by letting you know this is a very transparent process. So anything that you want to share with us, we'll be thankful to hear. And I'm going to start off tonight by giving you a short introduction of who we are as a college and kind of how this process is going to work moving forward. So these are a few quick facts about Fayetteville Tech. We are the third largest community college in North Carolina. We have the largest continuing education program in North Carolina. We are the third largest online, we offer the most courses, the third largest college. We have the third largest online course offering out of all colleges and universities in the state of North Carolina. We are the #1 military-friendly school in the nation. And we have several programs that require licensure, and we have several of those programs that all of our graduates have 100% graduation rate. That's in the BLET area, dental hygiene, pharmacy technology, speech language pathology. Some facts about our employees, who we are as a team here. We have 1,258 college employees. Out of that number, 732 are faculty and 526 are staff. Out of our faculty, we have 336 that are full-time and 396 that are part-time. And then we have listed on this PowerPoint annual budget of $116 million. I can tell you as the CFO for the college, is actually higher than that. I don't think the person who put this together actually considered our federal dollars. But this college operates on about $180 million budget every year. So we are quite a sizable college in this area. If you look at our FTE, you can see that we have over 12,000 full-time equivalents. If you don't understand what that means exactly, if I was a half-time student and someone else was a half-time student, then together we would make 1 FTE. And then our college is funded based on the number of FTEs that we have. So you'll see over the last few years, that number has gotten smaller. And that's going to be a challenge for our next president who comes in here. It's a challenge for all of us at the college moving forward, trying to figure out how to move forward with less students and how to get our numbers back up. A lot of that's related to COVID and some other things that we are working on. Thank you. Hey, Mr. Crosby. It's one of our other trustees. So, all right. As students, if you look at the makeup of our students, you'll see that we are a little more than half female, 44% male. And if you look at our diversity, we are 48% white and 62% non-white. We have out of our students, we have 41% who have full-time jobs while they're taking classes here at Fayetteville Tech. So that's very important to understand, because we know that we're not the only thing that our students have going on. They're going to classes as well, and have full-time jobs, and lots of times families as well. So 17% are employed part-time, and then about 42% of our students are not employed at all. If you look at the age ranges, 44% are in the 25 to 44 age range, 31% at 18 to 24, and 25% other. And 92% of our students are North Carolina residents, 8% non-resident. And then for every dollar that a student spends at the college as part of their education at Fayetteville Tech, the rate of return on that investment is almost $26. So spending time at Fayetteville Tech, getting your education here, definitely has a good return on investment for our students. I know Mr. Wolford said this, I think I've said it again once already. The selection of our president is the single most important responsibility of our Board of Trustees. I want to give a little bit of an outlook on what the timeline is for our search committee. Right now, we're doing our community forums. This is the last community forum that we'll have. There's one that's going on simultaneously at Spring Lake this evening. We've had 2 other this week already, so we've gotten a lot of input from our faculty and staff and community. This will be our last one. Once we finish with all this, all the information that you're sharing with us, we're going to develop a profile for what we want to see in our next president. And that will become basically kind of like a job description that will be available here really soon. We're going to publish that information in the national higher education publications, and then on all kinds of online sites. We'll start accepting applications. In June, our search committee will select semifinalists. July, the committee will do initial interviews with that group. And then after we narrow it down, all the ones that are remaining, our top candidates, will be referred to our full Board of Trustees for interviews. That will happen in August, and the board will make a decision on who they'd like to recommend for the position. And at that point in time, that will be turned over to our state board, and they will consider our recommendation in September. So as we move forward tonight, the big reason that we've asked everybody to come here is, again, to provide your input, any feedback that you would like for us to consider as a committee as we move through this process. We framed a few questions here just to give you some things to think about that you might want to respond to. There's the same questions that have been on our survey that's available online. But first of all, what challenges do you think our college is going to face in the next decade? And then as you consider those challenges, what traits and characteristics, skill sets do you think our next president is going to need in order to meet those challenges? And then are there any other things that you think that our search committee needs to understand as we move forward this process? So we do have the online survey that's open through May 1st. That is on, I guess, Sunday. The Sunday will be, it'll be open through Sunday this week. We have the QR code here on the slide. This is available online. If you go to the Fayetteville Tech webpage, presidential survey.
Mr. Crosby has joined us. Ron Crosby, he's also a member of the Board of Trustees and former chairman of the Board of Trustees. So glad you connected.
Thank you, sir. Apologize for being late.
No problem. No problem. I know there's just a few of us here, but I would ask that if you would like to speak, to come up to one of the microphones to talk into. And if you have your cell phone turned on, if you would, just put that on vibrate, so it won't be picked up by the TV. So as Robin mentioned, this is the process that we develop our profile. And our profile is basically the job description. This is what we're going to be advertising for out in several media publications that we'll be advertising in. And then we'll go from there. So we are here to hear your input. What are you looking for in the next president? So I will turn it over to see who wants to break the ice and start off.
I have a class that I'm skipping. I'm going to go back to. So when I finish, I'm leaving, not out of disrespect, but I have to get to my class. I am Sarah Bruton, and I am a faculty member with the English department. And search committee, thank you for this opportunity. My fellow colleagues, thank you for taking time out of your Thursday evening to be here. And so one of the first questions spoke to the challenges for the college for the next 10 years. And so the thing of it is that COVID has taught us that we have to reinvent ourselves. And that really speaks to what product we have to offer our students. You know, we have focused on the 2-year degree, and it still has its place, but many of our students now are seeking short-term certificates so they can be employed more readily. And so we have to figure out how to reinvent ourselves. And so the next president, that is going to have to be one of the leading tasks that he or she has, is how do we reinvent ourselves? Well, how do we figure out what to offer our students and what that looks like for our students? So that was one thing. I sort of just jotted down a few things. The next president needs to rely on the whole team, which includes every employee that works at Fayetteville Tech. A big thing is that the next president should value people over processes. We have a lot of processes at this college, and they are important, they are necessary, but without the people, there are no processes happening. The one thing as a community college, it is important that our next president work diligently to create a greater sense of community. The next point is having an open door to hear from everyone as needed. The next president needs to be someone that our students and our employees can identify with on many different levels. And that sort of speaks to the next point, which is that, as Robin points out, that that we have a very diverse student population. And so diversity is very important, that our students see in our leadership someone they can identify with. And then the last thing is that the next president needs to be very open to thinking outside the box. And so that's all I have to say. Thank you for this opportunity, but I am going to leave because I do have a class to attend to. But thank you again. Peter, it speaks to the fact that while processes are part of our jobs, and we have to have processes in order to have function, that we sometimes get so wrapped up in the processes, we forget about the people. For example, many of us, have seen where robots are going to take over all these different jobs. The reality is that robots are going to make our jobs, will change how we do our jobs. And so we need to realize that if the people are valued and appreciated, the processes will be done in a much different spirit. And so people over processes, that is something that as a department chair, that my people are my focus, my main point, and they in turn do their processes because they know that, I'm concerned about who they are as people. And so again, Jacob Morgan's the future leader. I'm just putting that out there, but thank you again. Any follow-up questions? Okay, thank you again, everyone. Have a good evening and please be safe.
Thank you. Okay, who'd like to be next?
I'll go next since there's not that many of us in here. I agree with a lot of what Sarah was saying, but also I would like to see someone who can be a change agent and make the culture diverse, not just on a surface level, but internally as well. So someone like myself is comfortable in this environment, working here in this environment as a department chair. I just want to feel a little bit more comfortable to be able to do my job effectively. And so I know we are a very diverse campus on a surface level, but like I said, I would appreciate if we had someone who could come in and be an agent of change to extend that diversity down in a more internal manner, if that makes sense.
All right. Thank you. All right, well, we've got 3 others here that haven't talked to anybody else.
make sure this mic's good. Good evening, Presidential Search Committee, faculty and staff, and those attending. I attended the first one to kick off on Monday, and I got to thinking there were some things that I wanted to say, and I sat down and I didn't really gave the time to other people to say, so I jotted them down. And I thought, well, I'll come back and I'll address them either yesterday or at least tonight. And I'm glad I did, because I'm part of an North Carolina group that we're looking at the portrait of an NC graduate. And we met last night by Zoom. And it's our second meeting. And we're starting to look at the core competencies of what a graduate will look like in the 21st century. And I look at, and during that discussion, I looked at it, what would a graduate look like here at the community college? Some of the things on that facts slide that was up there, I wanted to add something to it, that yes, we're the third largest community college in the state, but North Carolina Community College system is one of the largest in the country. And we just didn't get there overnight. So here we are in year 3 of COVID, facing uncertain economic climate with impacts that have completely changed the workforce and the landscapes of shifts. And that's a challenge itself. And to address that challenge, I firmly believe that the community college system, this community college, is an engine of that change, of how we transform people that may be displaced by different jobs, different industries, and different training and different opportunities. As I said yesterday, on Monday, as I said on Monday, we've got to build on the 15 years of success that we've had at this community college. We truly do. We truly have. There's been a lot of successes here. But I'm looking for a president that's going to build on those, but I'm also looking for a president that's going to engage future challenges. For example, unique opportunities presented by advances in technology in a rapidly changing environment. Our next president should continue to have a passionate commitment to provide students an innovative educational environment, which we currently have, that prepares them to meet the workforce needs of the community and the 21st century. And with that comes the importance of the robust partnerships that have been established over the last 15 years with the Cumberland County public school systems, universities, articulation agreements, Fayetteville Cumberland County Economic Development Corporation, Fort Bragg, local employers, and all of our community key partners. We are a key stakeholder, and we are central to all the partners in Cumberland County and throughout this great state. And our next president's going to have to come in and not establish, but continue those robust partnerships, because it's all about jobs. It's all about the changing landscapes of what our students are looking for when they come to us. I think diversity has been talked about a few times, but I want to make sure that our next president continues to drive diversity, equity, inclusion, and that's from the top down. That's where it starts, and that's where it radiates out throughout this college. And that's for faculty, staff, and our students. Those are the 3 hallmarks that our next president should come in and look at. Should have a strong belief in collaborative administrative style, which is a great communicator. Embrace change. Not saying that we're not embracing change today, but change is here. And how we embrace change is going to drive the future of us. And we're all on one team. And I mean faculty, staff, and our student body. We all are one team, one body here. Our next president's going to have to be creative. Going to have to be student-centered in the decision-making process. Going to have to listen to faculty and staff. Clearly understand how education creates opportunity. That's one of the biggest successes that we have had over the past 15 years. It's just what I said, how education creates opportunity, not for just faculty and staff, but for students who graduate and go on to pursue their careers or transfer to a 4-year degree program. And then they look back at their 2-year time here at the community college and how valuable that process was for them. And finally, our next president's definitely going to have to look at the data, specifically analytics, to help us, faculty and staff, know how we can better serve our students. Because one of the biggest challenges on this campus is going to be recruitment and retention of faculty and staff over the coming years, student success, and where we are today, student enrollment. Those are the challenges I see facing the next president of our great institution. So I thank you very much for giving me some time to go over my little list here I kind of put together. And again, I appreciate all of your time for stepping forward to facilitate the process.
I want you to do me a favor and take several of those cards that have the QR code and the website and pass them around to the folks that did not get a chance to try them, and ask them to please complete the survey, because the board of trustees and the executive search committee of the board of trustees are going to read every single comment, every one of them, as they're developing the presidential profile. Some people had classes, some people were unable to come, and we, as Jesse so well said, we are a family. And pass them out to the folks that couldn't come and ask them to complete the survey.
Thank you. Okay, does anybody have any other final comments? If not, thank you very much for showing up. Have a nice evening.